Russell, brands and sponsorship and advertising, that was a $300 million business for your department last year. Why is that? Why do you continue to see that growth?
I think the growth is around, kind of to your point, that we're creating things that didn't exist before. We basically saw this unbelievable opportunity to utilize music to tell stories for brands. And I think what we've seen change dramatically, and I think why we're seeing tremendous growth in our business, is because there aren't a lot of rules. I think 5 years ago, brands took the attitude with artists and bands, here's a check, this is what we want to do, we want you to, in our TV spot, we want you to hold our product, and we'll pay you some money. But they're some of the best marketers in the world. They get people to buy tickets to their show every day. I guarantee you they're better in social media than any brand in the world in terms of, because if you look at social media, they have more people following them than any brand here, and they know how to communicate with them. And so what we've seen is that when the brands and the artists actually come together and talk and collaborate and really think about what the possibilities are, that's where great things are happening.
10 years ago, the music industry was just starting that transformation of not.
Yeah, it's kind of your advances 10 years ago were a lot bigger. Your publishing advance too would be a lot bigger. Your royalties are bigger. All of that shrinking. You could afford to go around on $250 a night, and you could break even on a tour. Now, as gas prices go up, or it's almost impossible to do that. We have 10,000 followers on our Instagram, and all they ask is for us to post a picture of that, and they come over and do a little interview, and they let us stay in a 4-story brownstone in Brooklyn, and sleeps our whole band for free. It's almost like the brand does a non-profit for artists just doing their art. They don't tell you how to do your stuff, just be you, and we're just so happy to be associated with the art that you're creating. Live Nation, they helped us get a sponsorship with Durango boots. Sometimes it's like if you have nothing but scrims and you feel like you're playing inside of an advertisement, and they were really, really flexible with us, and the name was on the ticket. There's something in the front foyer when you come in, and we were still able to kind of present our night and have the music be really focused, but the brand was still very apparent, and we all had Durango boots on when we were playing. They're very comfortable boots.
What are some instances where Southwest wants to be a patron, more of a sponsor of music, versus working directly with artists like you guys just did with Imagine Dragons?
The Southwest brand is all about connecting people. So if you think about music, it's the absolute connection point. So you can connect with people on such a personal level. So we've done a variety of things, whether it's sponsoring like the venue, like Red Rocks in Denver, perfect, like unique, a place that creates unique experiences. What we just did with Imagine Dragons was much like Matt was talking about, a bit of co-creation. So when you sit down with the brand, and it's like the brand communicates what's important to them, and the band says, okay, well, we can make that work, but we also want to do this too. So when you're sitting in a room together, I think that's what's changed. People used to just put their name on everything. Right. Naturally, you want the consumer to walk away and say, oh wow, that's super cool that this band and this brand made sense to you.
Russell, is that something you're seeing more and more? Is that the brands that have a history in working with music know that they have to be a little bit more on their toes for those kinds of opportunities?
The thing I talk to brands about the most is try to be there with your consumer every day. Don't assume that, the 22-year-old woman in Nashville is country music. She may be a hip-hop fan. Do the research, really understand your customer, and think more broadly, because I think it's different. When we were young, it was like rock. I was the rock and roll guy, and that's kind of what you like, and there was the punk rock guy and the people that liked hip hop. Now everybody likes everything, but more and more I'm seeing artists actually, they'll come to us and say, hey, look, could you go get a meeting with City or Southwest or whoever? We've got an idea, and we'll go set the meeting up. Let them go and pitch their idea.
And nothing thrills a brand more. I mean, that's who you want to work with.
Question just for Southwest Airlines, but I think I recently read something about you integrating music music on the planes. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
It's called Live at 35, and we're like 3.5 years into it. So it kind of started with an event out in Napa, a music festival out there, and that was our connection to some of the artists. So we either sponsor a live concert in the air, so to speak, either inbound to certain events like a South by, or just a normal day at Southwest, and our customers get to be delighted because you can't book the flight. I mean, it's just whoever happens to be on the flight that day. You have to be able to play. I mean, if you think about it, your microphone is the microphone the flight attendant uses to make announcements. So damn, you gotta be good. You gotta be good acoustically, because playing 35,000 feet in the air will test a lot of bands. So not everybody will sign up for it.
How much of responsibility do you feel to the Austin music scene when you're?
Yeah, the excitement is that there's just so much that comes through our doors, and so when we kind of go out as marketers, one of the things that we took from Jay was, whenever possible, let's put Austin music into our commercial work. We're very entrenched in the music community, of course. We support things like, Hampp, which is a health alliance for Austin musicians. So that gives us kind of a first taste of these musicians who truly struggle to make ends meet. And so if we have relationships with them and know that, they're very dedicated to their craft, that's a great thing for us to kind of embrace. All of the local music producers, the local musicians, if there's a chance that we can put their music into our work first, that's what we do.
Thank you, man. So Russell, Wayne, Matt, David, Andrew, thank you very much, and thanks to the CMO Club and Keith Craddock for co-hosting this with us. This has been terrific.